Critical Conversations, Part 2, Workplace Elder Care Seminars.
All right, but what if? As you go back and look at your original list, your original concerns, you've had this conversation, it didn't work out the way you expected it to work out. And so you're going to need to take a look at what was my original concern, and am I still as concerned about that as I was? What has changed? Do I now know more about their expectations? Do they now know more? Are they angry? But do they now better understand my concerns and my fears? And then, was this a safety issue? If this conversation has been long delayed, if this is a conversation where you are concerned about the imminent safety of your loved ones or about someone else, i.e., Dad shouldn't be driving, he's going to kill someone out on the road even if he doesn't kill himself. If you are imminently concerned for their safety, then you can't wait for another opportunity to have this conversation. You need to get a professional involved. So either a professional social worker who will come in and talk to them, whether it is from a human service agency such as DARTS, or if it is from an agency, or if it is from Hennepin County, Ramsey County, Dakota County, whatever county can come in and do an in-home assessment of your parents. If you are imminently concerned about their safety, you need to move forward for their safety. And then check for resources. It's sad. It's very sad. But if you write a letter to the Department of Public Safety at the state of Minnesota about your concern for someone's driving, they will send them a letter that says something to the effect of, you have been routinely chosen for a driver's license renewal scan. You need to come in and take the written and visual and road test, and failure to appear will mean the immediate revocation of your license. It is sad that that may need to be what you're coming to. But giving up those keys, that's tough. And so, as a last resort, please, as a last resort, there is that option. All right, so if you would take a look at your original list that you came up with of the conversation that you are anticipating needing to have someday, and those concerns that you had about having that conversation. Can you tell me, please, honestly, have we made progress? Are there still barriers we should be talking about? So our question was, how do you deal with multiple issues? How do you deal, is it driving this week and then next week we're going to talk about housing and then the week after that we're going to talk about nutrition? Or do we sit down and have a conversation? And my suggestion would be you do it one way or another and set up those ground rules when you begin the conversation. It can be a general conversation of, Mom, I have some concerns, and I know you do too, Mom. I want to make sure that you have the aging experience that you expect to have. And I want to do whatever I can over the next 10 to 15 years to help you have that aging experience. But I need to know what your expectations are. And that, or you can say, Mama, I know you've got a lot on your plate. Could we just talk about what are the options around driving? I'm nervous. And then if it gets into the next one and the next one and the next one, you need to stop it, because you set that ground rule that we're just going to talk about driving. So you can do it either way. You just need to be clear, because that's the only way to be fair about what you're going to do. And just for the record, coming up in January is a presentation that I'll be doing here on housing decisions. And I promise you there are more options out there than you know of. Let's get together and talk if you're concerned about having to make housing decisions. And then at the end of January, I will be doing one on how to know what resources are out there in your community and how to find them, how to access them, how to talk their language so that you know what they're talking about. So we'll work on some of those in upcoming. But back to that critical conversation, you set the ground rules and then stick to those ground rules. Otherwise, it doesn't feel fair. Other questions? I would have hoped that there was something in that original agreement that you signed that spelled out what the fees were and how it went out. I would certainly contact an ombudsman. So if you go to caregivermn.org, which is just a website of resources for caregivers, there is going to be a tab there for legal advice. And what you're looking for is, you may need an elder attorney right now. What you need is an ombudsman, and someone who understands elder law, who can let you know how you may need to advocate on behalf of your older adult. It's tough.
It's going to come to blows.
It is. It is tough, and what you need to keep it. I'm sorry. Let me review what she just said. What if Dad has decided what he wants, the family has come together and said, all right, Dad, we'll support you in what you want, and the extended family, the in-law family, or even the grandchildren oftentimes think they know better. And the answer to that is that it's Dad's life, and it's Dad's aging journey, and someone needs to respectfully acknowledge that level of concern, acknowledge that we all feel are worried about this, but this is Dad's journey. We as a family have decided to support Dad, and I'm sorry that you're not comfortable with it. But again, it's Dad's journey. Yeah, so my suggestion again is acknowledge her concerns, acknowledge her worries. We know that this may not be the best holiday at all because of this, but at least it'll be the holiday where we all supported Dad, and that'll make the holiday significant. So you're kind of taking her concern and blending it back into why this needs to still be a family holiday gift to Dad. So that's a prime example. She said, what if Dad, as the primary caregiver, doesn't see that there's an issue and the rest of the family is concerned? Then this is the conversation you have. I'm concerned when I see Mom X. Dad, how can I help you get services that will make it easier for Mom? Not easier for Dad, because he's going to go, this is no problem. But how can I help you find resources that will make it easier for Mom? And again, but the family's concerns are valid, but you're right. It's Mom and Dad's journey. It's Mom and Dad's journey. And there may be, and so then the takeaway for you is, what are you learning about your aging journey? So perhaps in that conversation, she's talking about her mom's anxiety over a medical issue, causing her to land in a nursing home, and her resistance, go figure, to landing in a nursing home. And perhaps then that is a conversation that needs to include her health care provider. That's a conversation. Well, one step at a time, but that because it's her fear of a medical condition and the progression of a medical condition, I would bring those fears to her medical provider as well, so that the conversation can include, is this anxiety or is this a progression, and how can we understand the progression and be prepared for it? It's all about putting it out on the table. That's the only way we're going to be able to partner with them, rather than feel like we're dancing around the issues, but to partner with them and help them through the issues of aging. Paul Newman said aging isn't for sissies. I mean, if Paul Newman understands that, then I think we all need to understand our role as helping them through that journey. Any other questions? Here are the resources I always put up here for you. If you live in Dakota County, I hope you know to contact DARTS. What if you live anywhere else in the metro area? There's the senior linkage line, and the contact information for the senior linkage line is on the back page of your handouts. If you or your loved one lives in Greater Minnesota, there is minnesotahelp.info, and that is where you say, my parents live in Aiken, and I'm looking for someone who can do snow removal. And it'll bring up the providers in that area that provide services to older adults in that specific community. If you are concerned about someone who lives somewhere else, Virginia, Colorado, Elder Care Locator will help you access services for them anywhere else that they might be. And then Elder Care Partners is 3 nonprofits here in the Twin Cities. DARTS, the Wilder Foundation, Wilder Organization, and Senior Community Services, who provide caregiver coaching. So if the situation is complex, if it's yucky, perhaps it's time to get a caregiver coach involved. And they don't so much focus on the needs of the elder, although they certainly need to be aware of what's going on with the elder, but they take a look at the caregiver and help the caregiver find strategies in order to move forward, because the more powerful and healthy we keep our caregivers, the longer they're able to provide care for those older adults. Excellent. So I would suggest this exact same conversation. I have some ideas on what I want for the next 30 years of my life. I'd like to, first of all, make sure you know what I would like, including the advance directive and the power of attorney and how you see all of that playing out, whether you want to stay in your home until the day you die, or if you're already thinking about moving to a townhome, all of those kinds of what's your vision, and then can we talk about it and make sure that you're comfortable with it, and what do you think of this, and I'm thinking I might, need you to buy groceries take me to the grocery store once in a while. Is that going to work out with you? Just have the conversation. And they'll probably go, Mom, you're going to live forever.
They don't want to talk about it really.
But it's like, who was it that said, if you say it, it becomes real. But if you're comfortable with it, they'll be more comfortable with it. Absolutely. There are caregiver support groups. There are 4 of them in Dakota County. And you might want to go to minnesotahelp.info and search for caregiver support groups. I am sure Wilder and Senior Community Services and probably Merrick here in the St. Paul area would provide support groups, but certainly look for that. And some of them are support groups for caregivers specifically around Alzheimer's or dementia, or specifically around cancer, but very, very many of them are just for working caregivers who can get away for an hour once a week or every other week just to sit and be around people who understand.
Their place of worship might have it.
No, true. Many parish nurses would, even if they don't, if your church faith community doesn't offer a support group, your parish nurse or your senior ministry leader would know, hopefully, where they are. All right. I want to thank you all very much. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas. I will be back after the first of the year. Can you imagine? So,
Thank you.
thanks, guys.